Hey everybody, welcome back to What You Making Mama. Tonight I'm going to be making balsamic Parmesan chicken fingers, and this is on page 94 of the Good Food Real Results cookbook. And I'm really excited about this recipe. I've made it one other time and it was absolutely fantastic. And what I have here is some breadcrumbs mixed with some Parmesan cheese. That's going to be the coating for my chicken. And before I get started with any of this, I'm gonna make some marinara sauce just real quick from scratch. I'm not gonna be buying jarred pasta sauce anymore because it has too many added sugars and things like that in it. Tonight I'm just using a can of tomato puree, a can of diced tomatoes, and some of my Epicure marinara seasoning. You're gonna put that on the pot, let it simmer for about 15 minutes, and when your chicken's done cooking, this will also finish up about the same time. Getting a little bit of a late start tonight. It's about 7:21 on the clock, so we'll see what time it is when I get finished. But this is one thing that I really like about what we are doing with Epicure is we are able to pre-plan our meals and kind of know what we're gonna be having for the week. Now, if you wanted to do this with fresh tomatoes, you totally could. Use, probably 5 or 6 fresh tomatoes. If they're Romas, the small Roma tomatoes, that'd probably be enough. And then I'm just gonna throw in a few teaspoons of the marinara seasoning. That ought to be plenty, maybe a little bit more. There's a recipe on the side, but it calls for the big jars, and with just Ryan and I'm not going to use the big jars, so I'm just going to use that much of it. And then we'll just stir that in. Okay, and this is just going to simmer. I'm going to go ahead and stick a lid on it so it doesn't pop all over my stove. So I'm going to use my Epicure cruet to make a fresh dressing with my balsamic vinaigrette, and this calls for 2 tablespoons of dressing mix. I'm going to use my nice little silicone funnel here so I don't make a huge mess. With 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. My gradients are here on the side, so 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. When you're making salads, use the lighter flavor olive oil. It's a little bit milder flavor. It's not going to be as overwhelming. Okay, and then it's also calling for a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. So that was 3/4 of a cup that it's filled up to. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill up to the 1 cup mark with my very good quality balsamic vinegar, aka buy what's on sale. I do kind of look at the quality of stuff. You know, if you can get a better quality for the same price as you can get a generic, do that. And that is homemade Italian dressing. And I'm telling you, that is a good balsamic dressing. It is really yummy. And this is what's gonna be the base. We're gonna put our chicken in that, and then we're gonna dredge that in these Parmesan breadcrumbs. This says we need a 1/4 cup of the dressing. Now, I did this earlier. We bought a great big massive pack of these chicken tenders at Sam's Club, and we came home and I think it was 7 pounds of chicken, and we made 7 packets of chicken. So some of it I did a dice and some of it I did thin strips. These I just left as chicken tenders. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and slide these out onto this plate. And then I'm gonna use just a little bit of this dressing, which is gonna, it's just gonna flavor these things wonderfully. And then we are going to make sure that they're all covered. I'm gonna let those sit just for a second while I clean up. Check the time here, it's 7:31, so we're just on 10 minutes. I let these soak kind of a little bit while I put some stuff away. I'm just making sure that's got a nice, good coating of the yummy stuff on there. I'm gonna drop it in here and get a nice coat on there. Now, if one had an air fryer, oh, these would be amazing in an air fryer. I have not succumbed to that peer pressure yet. I do not have an air fryer yet. And if you leave them kind of set in there for a second, the coating gets a little thicker and it makes for a crunchier texture for your chicken fingers. These are gonna be nice, big, thick chicken fingers. So the directions said to cut them into thinner strips. That is so they cook faster. This is not a 20-minute meal tonight. This is gonna take a little longer because these are full tenders. So, you know, if you want this to be quicker, follow the directions, cut these down, even into nuggets, like 3 nuggets from each chicken strip. That'd cook super fast. These are gonna take a little longer to cook, so this is not gonna be a 20-minute meal tonight. But it's still pretty quick because these are ready to go in. Now that's a lot of waste, and I did not use all of it that it told me to. So use half of what it says on there. If you need more, mix it up, but I doubt you'll need more. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop this in. Okay, so I just popped these out of the oven after 20 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and probably just give them a little flip. Yeah, wish I had an air fryer. I might have to invest in one of those. I'm gonna stick those back in. Okay, so we've got the last few minutes on the chicken. I'm gonna go ahead and get my plate set up here. Some nice organic spring mix. Here's a tip for you. Lay a paper towel on top of your lettuce box, and that will help soak up some of this moisture and keep your lettuce fresher longer. So I'm going to put half of my plate is going to be lettuce. Now that's probably at least a couple cups of lettuce. And then what I like to do is kind of bunch it up like this and tear it just so it's a little more of a bite size. Make it a little bit easier to eat. Half of your plate is gonna be leafy greens. Oh, Tate saw me drop a lettuce leaf on the floor. Come run over and get it. Okay, so that's a nice big salad for us. Oh, did you find that lettuce, Tate? Oh, yes. You can have it. And then I'm gonna put my nice, yummy balsamic dressing. I'm gonna do a little drizz of that on there, just a little bit. We can have a tablespoon of that, no problem. Oh, it's so good too. And then that's gonna leave room for our chicken and our marinara. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that and get that plated up. Just a nice little marinara sauce on the side. Yummy. Just enough room for our chicken. There's our chicken, guys. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Nice and crispy. The cheese is all melted in the coating and the breadcrumbs got all nice and crispy. Look at that, guys. Doesn't that look beautiful? So these are the balsamic vinaigrette salad, balsamic chicken fingers with fresh marinara sauce. It is just on 8 o'clock. So that wasn't too bad. Took me about a half an hour or so to get everything ready. Not a bad dinner. You could do some meal prep and probably shorten the time that it takes to do some of these things. Like I said, cut your chicken down into smaller pieces. You won't have to cook it as long. Okay, I'm gonna feed my family. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.